Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to a new deck tech video. Today I'm going to talk about a Handlock deck that has been made by a life coach. I was watching his stream and he made it, and the reason why I decided to make a deck tech video about it is because I played in the Pinnacle qualifiers. It was a few days ago, like 3 days ago, and I haven't dropped a single game with this deck. I came pretty far. I lost in the finals or semifinals to Jab, and but he banned the deck. So in the tournament, this deck was undefeated. It's very good for climbing ladder, and yeah, I'm going over the deck list here. It plays the double Mortal Coil, which is actually pretty rare in a Handlock deck right now. Just because you don't have the room, people decide to play other cards like the Dark Bombs or like Jiraxes and all the other stuff. Um, it plays the standard double Ancient Watcher, which you always played in Handlock, so there's nothing to explain there. It's a very cheap card. You can combo with Shadow Flame or toned up with Sunfury Protector, or if you have the coin, you can coin out the Ironbeak Owl, or like you coin out the Ancient Watcher into Ironbeak Owl, and you have a Yeti in turn 3 basically, or turn 2, yeah. And so it's very cheap cards, very strong. Like the difference with the deck I play here is I play two owls instead of the one zombie chow what life coach plays. The reason is because I there's so many situations you face like a Sylvanas, or like you play a mirror match against the opponent's Twilight Drakes, or just you play against a shaman, he has flame tongue totems, and you don't have a hellfire because this deck only plays one hellfire. There's so many situations you just rather have a silence than a stable turn one play. So I decided to play the owl again instead of the zombie chow, but I see the point in playing a zombie chow, so you just play minions on curve. But yeah, if you don't draw it, so yeah, late game zombie chow is really not a good card, so I'd rather have the silence. The double Sunfury Protector to combo with Molten Giant, this card is like absolutely core, absolutely necessary. It's like a card that can't be cut in Handlock, in my opinion. It's too important because very often you just have like, you drop too low early game, so you have to taunt up anything. You play a Giant and you just have to Sunfury Protector it, or you have to Sunfury Protector Molten Giants to survive. A double BGH, which is very interesting, like life coach explained, you siphon soul, like most of the time you force yourself to play siphon soul in Handlock just to have a late game removal. You don't want to use siphon soul against smaller minions anyways, so the targets you want to siphon souls are most of the time Ragnaros, Alexstrasza, all those big minions, or Grimash, Dr. Boom now as well, like all the big minions, and you can simply just BGH them. The thing is, also the live game from Siphon Soul is most of the time negative, because you wanna play towards Molten Giants, so you either don't wanna have the heal or you wanna save the Siphon Soul for a bigger minion anyway. So it's another situational card. The problem about Handlock was or is that you are oftentimes stuck with a lot of situational cards with Siphon Souls, Power Whelmings, Hellfire, Shadow Flames, and so on, BGHs, and Owls. Like there's a lot of situational cards, and if you just play like stable 6 drops instead, which you can see here, which is the Cairn and the Sylvanas, you can just play them on curve. You don't really care so much about what your opponent does. You just play them. And with the double Antique Heal bot, which you have now, you have a lot of heal, just to which is yeah just, so you will stabilize quickly with your health pool, so you can afford to play more late game minions and not be too scared of dying. And this deck is super strong against Handlock and against Warrior, because not just because you play the double BGH, also you have a lot of big threats, like with the Cairn and Sylvanas. You're especially strong against Warrior. Like you don't really care if they brawl, you can force the brawl, you can just spam minions like Drakes and Sludge Belchers and Giants, and then they are forced to brawl or they die, and then you can just spam the board with more hard to remove minions like Cairn and Sylvanas and so on. So this deck is very strong against uh, other control matchups. Um, it can beat aggro decks, as of course, since you play the anti-heal bots now. The problem with Jaraxxus is now most of the time people save their Harrison Jones. Most people play Harrison Jones in the first place because of the popularity of Paladins, because Paladin is probably like the strongest class right now, together with Handlock. And so it's like a staple card in most decks. So if you play Jaraxxus, you only have one target, and almost every Handlock player plays Jaraxxus. So if you lose two warriors if they save the Harrison Jones for Jaraxxus, even if you're out of cards. Yeah, even if the warrior player is out of cards. So it's like a pretty hard counter, and I would rather play Alexstrasza anyways over Jaraxxus, but you don't have to play any of those because I think, like Life Coach already mentioned, that Ragnaros is really strong in a handlock, especially because you have so many BGH targets, and Ragnaros on its own is a really strong card. It's an 8/8 for 8 which can kill a big minion for free. It's very strong against traps. You can taunt it up, and as mentioned, like your opponent will you most of the time not have like an answer to it because you have the Dr. Boom, you have the Giants. You can't BGH everything, so it's a very strong deck. It plays only one Argus, which is sometimes a little bit weak if you need a taunt, but you have the double Sludge Belch as well in this deck, so it has like a lot of late game. It's a pretty strong deck, and I'm also gonna show you some games on NA.